Hi, welcome to Everyone Has One with Tiffany. I'm Tiffany. This is a new channel. This is my second video. If you wouldn't mind subscribing and liking this video, I would greatly appreciate it. I just wanted to come on here and do a shorter, not a short, I just wanted to come here and do a video about something that I had mentioned in my first video, which was posted yesterday, just about not feeling fully represented. So today I get on TikTok, as I do, and I saw a video from Emily. I don't know her exact handle. It's Emily Jean with a bunch of numbers after. She is a mom who has 2 kids, and I think she's kind of like, if you're into like TikTok moms, I think she's pretty popular. I've seen her stuff, and I think she's even been on like the Drew Barrymore show or something, like, so she's pretty popular. But anyway, she was just kind of saying something similar, how she just feels like, there are all these parenting TikTokers and parents on social media, but they're not talking about like the struggle. Like, they talk about being tired and how kids can be this or that, but they're not talking about like the real struggle. And I so connect with that, because again, I'm in this really different place where my children are adults, but they haven't quite left home, and we're preparing for them to launch, and I want them to launch successfully. And not only all that, like, I'm at this place where I had my kids so young, and I'm still relatively young, and I have a lot of, hopefully, God willing, have a lot of life left to live. And so it's just, I think it's kind of different for a lot of people, but I'm just at this different stage. But I remember the struggle, I really do. And I was thinking, kind of after watching that while I was watering my plants, about how as a teenage mom, I didn't have any representation. There was no social media back in 1994 when I got pregnant. There was no reality okay, I don't have my phone with me. I left it upstairs, but I'm thinking, I don't remember when The Real World came out, but that was like the only reality show, right? And like maybe Cops, right? There wasn't, what we have now. There wasn't this social media presence. There wasn't even the internet. Like, it was there, but it was expensive still. We didn't have what we have now. We didn't have cell phones with everything in our pockets. So I had a beeper, So it wasn't like I had all this access to things for information. And when I got pregnant with my daughter, I turned to books, and I got this great book called Great Expectations. And it was a book about, pregnancy and postpartum and things like that. And it was really helpful. And I was just thinking, like, if I didn't have that book, I wouldn't have had any foundation on of knowledge, or a start from like what was happening to me, right? As a 16-year-old person, like, I wasn't comfortable even asking my mom, and my mom was really, really great and supportive, right? But I wasn't comfortable asking her about things that were going on in my body. I wasn't even comfortable talking to my doctor about it. As a kid, I just felt everything about being a 16-year-old and being pregnant was like just drenched in shame, right? You're 16, you shouldn't be pregnant, you shouldn't be having sex. None of that should be happening, right? So everything was just so saturated in shame. And I remember when my aunts threw me a baby shower, and I didn't have a lot of friends. I really like I had friends, but not like close friends. I only had 3 like truly close friends, and one of them had a baby around the same time as me, and 2 were friends that I grew up with in the neighborhood, and we'd been friends for a long time. And my aunt's saying, like, you can't invite your friends. We're not celebrating this. And I'm like, I was so hurt. And I don't think they realized it. Like, yeah, I made a mistake, and not even a mistake, but this happened, right? Like, this happened and I got pregnant, but it's still like I was having this child and it was still a joyful thing. And, this person was coming into the world, and let me tell you, she's amazing. And I would have done it 100 times again just to have her, right? But I just remember that. So like, even just for people to give me gifts to say like, here's help for your baby, it was like, nope, because you were 16, your friends can't even come and support you. So here I am at the shower, me at 16, and like, my mom's there. I don't even think my sisters were there. Like, my mom was there, my became my mother-in-law, and like my great aunt, my aunts, and my grandma. And that was like it, and that was my first child. And it was really hurtful. And I just thought, like, this is supposed to be my support system, right? But because I had this kid at 16, I had my daughter at 16, like, I just was without support. And everyone says, I'm going to help you, and I'm going to, do this. But that was really hard. And where's the representation for that, right? And I think now, I think society has taken a turn where I think there is more help, and there's, there's mentorship programs, and there's, more stuff for teenage mothers, and the teenage pregnancy rate has, dropped, and this, that, and the other. So like, I feel like there's much more support out there for people who do fall pregnant, even in their teenage years. And for me, it wasn't just cut and dry. Like, I was searching for something. I was searching for male companionship. I was searching for someone to love me, fully. And that's what, my boyfriend, who's now my husband, did. I didn't have a relationship with a father figure. I didn't have a father figure. As a matter of fact, we could get into it at another time, but me and men, it's not a thing. Like, I struggle with relationships with men. I have a lot of fear. I have a lot of, I'm very uncomfortable around men because of my history, and because the one man who was, supposedly a father to me was so awful and abusive, and then abandoned and rejected me, right? So I searched for this like male thing, right? Like this male to be my hero, and it ended up being my husband and my boyfriend at the time, and we ended up having a baby, and I was only 16 years old, and we had to learn how to do life, and it was hard. It wasn't, when you're 16 years old, it's not like you can have, any old job or do any old thing. Like, you're 16. If you think of, I was a sophomore in high school when I got pregnant. I was a junior when I gave birth. So I spent but the majority of my 16th year pregnant. I mean, for those of you who have never experienced that, think about what you were doing at 16. Maybe you were doing some of the stuff I was doing, but you didn't have a kid with you, so just something, yeah, it was just hard. But again, that like representation of others like you. And nowadays, like I said, like, we have the show 16 and Pregnant. We have, things where we can kind of see other people are thriving or getting support, or even resources, where when I was having my daughter, there weren't those things, right? There just weren't those things. Or at least if there were, I was not aware of them because they weren't easily accessible. I couldn't just get on Google and get it. If for any of you who may know, like, you would look in the phone book, and you'd go, and they'd be like, oh, unplanned pregnancy, and you call this number, and you end up in some room with some people who, are trying to have you make decisions, and you know, you're already scared, you're hormonal, you're 16, you're by yourself, you know, just so many things, right? So I just again, I just thought it was very interesting that like right after, you know, less than 24 hours after I posted that video, Emily was saying something very similar, just like how she doesn't necessarily, even on social media, even where we've taken, you know, the world and made it smaller and connected and more communal, through social media and finding people who have similar interests and similar lifestyles and things like that, where she still doesn't feel represented as a mom with kids who is struggling, with something other than being tired, right? So I thought that was pretty interesting. So yeah, that's all. I just wanted to hop on here again. If you like this video, please, or if you like what I'm doing or the content that I'm making, go ahead and subscribe, like, hit the like button, and I think you're supposed to like ring the bell for notifications. I'm just copying off of what other people have said, so that's what I'm gonna do. And I might hop on here tomorrow because I'm off work tomorrow, so maybe a little bit longer video. All right, that's all. Have a great night. That's not working. Work!